right, buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving into something that can make even the most casual Super Bowl viewer feel like a strategic mastermind.
Oh, I like
I'm
that.
talking about prop bets for Super Bowl LVIII.
You know, it's amazing how these prop bets turn every single play, every little moment of the game into something you can actually, well, wager on.
Right. It's not just about the final score anymore.
Exactly. It's like finding those hidden gems, those side stories within the game that suddenly become these mini wins and losses.
I love that analogy. Like, you could be sitting there with your friends who maybe aren't diehard football fans, and suddenly they're on the edge of their seats because they bet on whether the opening kickoff would be a touchback.
And that's what makes it so fun and accessible, right? You don't have to be a football expert to get in on the action.
So for everyone listening, think of it this way. Prop bets are like these mini wagers on all sorts of things that happen during the Super Bowl, from the coin toss at the beginning to like how long the national anthem is, to even the color of the Gatorade they dump on the winning coach.
And that's just scratching the surface. There are actually categories of these bets, each with its own kind of flavor.
Ooh, categories. Tell me more.
Well, let's start with player performance props. These are all about how individual players will perform. So things like, will the quarterback throw for over a certain number of yards?
Or if a certain running back will score a touchdown. Right.
Exactly. So if you think, oh, this guy's going to have a monster game, you can actually put your money where your mouth is.
I like it. Okay, what's the next category?
Next up, we've got team props, which focus less on individual players and more on how the team as a whole will perform.
So things like total points scored by the team, or whether they'll get a touchdown on their opening drive.
Exactly. It's more that bigger picture view.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. Game scenario props.
Oh, yeah, these are fun.
This is where you bet on specific things that might happen within the game, right?
Imagine placing a bet on whether the first score of the game will be a touchdown or a field goal.
Wait, hold on. You can bet on that?
Absolutely. You can even bet on whether there'll be a safety scored at any point during the game.
Now that's getting specific.
Right. And then, of course, we can't forget about the novelty props.
These are the ones that get everyone talking, right?
Oh, these are usually the most talked about because they're just, well, fun.
Like, will Rihanna bring out a surprise guest during her halftime performance?
Or what song she'll open with, right?
And, of course, the eternal question.
Mm-hmm.
What color Gatorade will they drench the winning coach with?
It's a classic.
See, this is what I love about prop bets. It's like they turn the whole Super Bowl into this giant game of prediction where even the tiniest details suddenly become exciting.
It really does add another level of engagement.
Well, why do you think they've become so popular? Especially for people who aren't, hardcore gamblers.
Well, for one thing, they're super accessible, right? You don't need to understand all those complicated betting odds or be a football expert to get involved.
Yeah, it's not like you need a PhD to have an opinion on the Gatorade color.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can join the fun, and I think that's a huge part of their appeal.
It makes the Super Bowl more interactive for everyone, right?
You're not just sitting there passively watching the game, you're actively invested in all these little side stories unfolding throughout the night.
Like you said, it's like having all these little side quests in a video game.
Exactly. And with so many different types of prop bets, there's truly something for everyone.
From the statisticians to the casual fans who are just there for the party.
And the snacks. Don't forget the snacks.
Okay, so let's say you, our listener, are ready to dive into this world of prop bets for Super Bowl LVIII. Where do we even begin? It can't just be random guessing, right?
Well, some might argue that's part of the fun, but yeah, a little strategy can definitely go a long way.
So it's not just about picking your favorite color for the Gatorade shower.
You could, but if you want to be a bit more strategic, the first thing I'd say is do your homework.
Homework, huh? So tell me, Professor, what should we be studying?
Well, don't just blindly pick prop bets because they sound fun or you have a gut feeling.
So we actually have to look at player stats and things like that.
It helps. Take a look at player and team stats, understand recent performance trends, and consider the context of the Super Bowl itself.
Okay, so walk me through an example. What kind of research would you do if you were placing a bet?
Let's say you're looking at that prop bet for how many passing yards a certain quarterback will have, right?
Okay, so you're looking at the quarterback stats.
Right, but not just for the whole season. You want to see how many yards he's been averaging in recent games, how he performs against the specific team he's playing against.
Oh, right, because some teams are better at defense than others.
Exactly. And then you also have to consider things like injuries or even the weather on game day.
Why, so it's like detective work almost.
It can be. You're gathering clues to try to figure out who's most likely to do what.
But there are so many prop bets out there. Any tips on narrowing it down?
One thing I'd caution against is blindly following those betting trends.
You mean like, just because everyone's betting on something doesn't mean it's a good bet?
Exactly. Sometimes those overlooked or less popular prop bets are where the real opportunities are.
Ah, the hidden gems, I see.
Precisely. But remember, even with all the research in the world, there's still a big element of chance involved.
So it's about balancing the fun with a bit of strategy.
That's a great way to put it. It's like you do your best to tilt the odds in your favor, but you also embrace the uncertainty.
Okay, but before we get too carried away with winning strategies and all that, we got to take a step back and talk about something really important.
Definitely. This is supposed to be fun, first and foremost.
Exactly. Responsible betting, folks. Set a budget for yourself, stick to it, and never bet more than you can afford to lose.
Treat it as a form of entertainment, a way to enhance your Super Bowl experience.
Not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Exactly. Keep it light, keep it enjoyable, and remember that the real win is spending time with your friends and family and enjoying the game together.
Okay, now that we've laid the groundwork, and you, dear listener, have a better understanding of what prop bets are all about, let's get to the good stuff.
The nitty-gritty.
Exactly. In the next part, we'll be diving into some specific examples of popular prop bets for Super Bowl LVIII that might just pique your interest and get those strategic wheels turning.
We'll explore some of the most intriguing options and even offer some insights to help you make those tough betting decisions.
Sounds like a plan.
Welcome back, everyone.
All right, so now that we've got the basics down, I'm dying to hear about some specific prop bets.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I feel like hearing actual examples will make it all click. You know, like what are people actually going to be betting on? What are the big ones?
Okay, well, how about we...
Yeah, the MVP, that's a big one.
This is all about predicting which player will have the most impactful performance.
Usually the quarterback, right?
Right, but it doesn't have to be.
I feel like I've seen some, like, wild card MVPs in the past.
Oh, absolutely. You know, sometimes a running back will just have an incredible game.
Or a defensive player makes, like, game-changing interceptions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so interesting to try and predict.
So how do we even, like, begin to predict that? It feels like there are a lot of factors involved.
Well, it's not just about the stats, right?
Oh, so it's not just about who gets the most touchdowns or whatever.
Right, you got to think about the narrative, too.
The narrative.
Yeah, like who's having a career year? Or is there a player with like a really compelling story?
Oh, so it's kind of like predicting who's going to win an Oscar, but for football.
Huh. That's a great way to put it. You're looking at performance, but also like the buzz around a certain player.
I like it. Okay, so MVP, that's a big one. What else? What else are people going to be talking about?
Another popular one is the first scoring play prop.
Oh, yeah. How do those first points get on the board?
This is all about guessing whether it'll be a touchdown, a field goal, or even a safety, which, you know.
I feel like that one would be so intense.
Hell no.
Oh, yeah, especially if the defenses are really strong.
Yeah, like every single yard gained would feel so much more important.
You're watching those first drives with a whole new level of intensity, that's for sure.
Okay, so we've got MVP, first scoring play. What about the halftime show? That's basically its own event within the Super Bowl.
Right.
So what kind of prop bets can we expect there?
Oh, there are tons. You could bet on which song Rihanna will open with, whether she'll bring out any surprise guests.
Costume changes? How many times is she going to change her outfit?
There you go. It's like the Super Bowl producers are giving us a whole separate betting board just for the halftime show.
It's like a game within a game. I love it. Okay, so we've got MVP, first scoring play, the halftime show, oh, and of course, the coin toss.
Oh, yeah, can't forget that classic.
The ultimate 50-50 gamble.
Heads or tails, pure chance, but the anticipation is always through the roof.
Okay, and last, but certainly not least, we got to talk about the Gatorade shower.
The one everyone gets excited about, even if they don't care about football.
Right. It's like, it's become this iconic Super Bowl tradition.
And it's a perfect prop bet because it's just pure fun.
No complicated stats, just pick a color and see what happens.
Exactly. So we've talked about a lot of the popular prop bets, but are you ready for some more advanced strategies?
Oh, yeah. Bring on the pro tips.
Yeah.
Like, are there any secrets to choosing the right prop bets?
Well, one thing I like to do is look for what's called correlated bets.
Correlated bets, what does that even mean?
It means you try to find connections between different prop bets, like if you think a certain quarterback is going to have a massive passing game.
Okay, and
Well, you might also want to bet on his team scoring over a certain number of points, because if he's throwing all over the field, chances are they're going to be racking up those points too.
Oh, so it's like a two-for-one deal. If one happens, the other one is more likely to happen too.
Exactly. Think of it like a chain reaction.
I like it. Okay, what else?
Another thing to keep in mind is momentum. How have the teams been playing leading up to the Super Bowl?
Oh, you mean like, is one team on a hot streak while the other one's been struggling?
Exactly. It's not just about looking at the season as a whole, it's about how they're performing right now.
Okay, momentum. Got it. Anything else?
The last thing I'll say is don't underestimate the power of good information.
Like, actually do some research.
Yes, don't just rely on gut feelings or what your buddies are saying at the bar,
Hmm.
Look at those stats, read up on what the experts are predicting, really try to understand all the different things that could influence those prop bet outcomes.
So it's like the more you know, the better your chances of winning.
Exactly. But I'm also curious, do you think there are any common pitfalls people fall into when it comes to prop bets?
Oh, yeah. Good question. Like, what are some things people should watch out for?
I think one big one is what I call shiny object
The
syndrome.
shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, there are so many fun and quirky prop bets out there, especially those novelty ones, that it's easy to get distracted.
Oh, you mean like you're so focused on what color Gatorade they're going to use that you forget to actually think about which team is more likely to win?
Uh-huh, exactly. And those novelty bets often have a higher what's called house edge, which means the odds are slightly more in favor of the sports book.
So it's about finding that balance between having fun and actually being strategic.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But even with all this advice, like, can you really ever know which prop bets are going to hit?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It feels like there's always going to be some element of like just plain luck involved.
Well, if we could predict the future with 100% certainty, we'd all be millionaires. But I think that's part of what makes prop bets so exciting.
It's the thrill of the unknown.
Right. You do your research, make your best guesses, but ultimately, it's that unpredictable element that keeps us coming back for more.
So it's about embracing the uncertainty and just enjoying the ride.
Exactly. Have fun with it, Do your research, be strategic where you can, but also remember that luck plays a role.
Okay, feeling a lot more confident now. But before we move on to your actual predictions for Super Bowl LVIII, let's take a quick break.
All right, sounds good.
When we come back, you're going to be putting your money where your mouth is and giving us your top prop bet picks for the big game. Okay, the moment of truth has arrived. It's prediction time. Are you ready to put on your, what do they call it, your prognosticator hat? And tell us what you think is going to happen for some of these big prop bets in Super Bowl LVIII.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. These are just, educated guesses based on everything we've seen so far.
Of course, but that's what makes it so fun. So hit me with your first prediction. What prop bet is really standing out to you?
Well, I've been watching the MVP race pretty closely, and I think the quarterback for, we'll just call him Team A. Let's call him Ace. I think he's got a real shot.
Ace, okay? So what makes you think he'll be the standout among all those other amazing players?
Well, he's been playing with this incredible focus all season. He's leading the league in passing touchdowns and rushing yards.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's pretty rare to find a quarterback who can do both, that dual threat.
So he's not just sitting back there throwing the ball. He can actually run with it, too.
Exactly. He can scramble, make plays with his legs, and that makes him really tough to defend.
Okay, and then you said there's a good narrative there, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's a young quarterback, hungry for that first Super Bowl win. Voters eat that kind of stuff up.
The underdog story, I see.
Exactly.
All right, so Ace for MVP. That's your first bold prediction. What else is on your mind?
Okay, I'm also kind of intrigued by the first scoring play prop.
Oh, yeah, touchdown, field goal, or the super rare safety.
Right, and you know what? I actually have a hunch it might be a field goal for Team A.
Really? Why
Okay.
a field goal? I feel like everyone's going to be betting on a touchdown, start things off with a bang.
And that's exactly why I think it could be a field goal.
Oh, the old reverse psychology.
Well, think about it. Everyone's expecting that big touchdown, but Team B's defense, they've been really tough all season, especially in the red zone.
So you think Team A might have some trouble getting close enough for that touchdown early on?
It's definitely possible, and Team A's kicker, he's got a reputation for being clutch under pressure, so they might just decide to take the points early and play it safe.
Okay, so that's two predictions for Team A already. Are you saying you think they're going to win the whole thing?
Oh, it's too early to say for sure, but I'm definitely seeing some interesting opportunities for prop bets related to their performance.
Fair enough. Okay, halftime showtime. Rihanna's headlining. That's huge.
Yeah.
What prop bets are you thinking about there?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Because Rihanna, She's known for being unpredictable.
Keeps us on our toes.
But, I have this feeling she's going to open with a classic hit, something like Umbrella.
Umbrella? Yeah, I can see that.
It's a song everyone knows and loves, gets the crowd energized, sets the tone for a high-energy show.
Okay, Umbrella. As the opening number, I like it. And what about a surprise guest? Any rumors floating around out there?
There's been a lot of speculation about a possible collaboration with Drake.
Oh, wow, that'd be amazing.
They've worked together before, and it would definitely be a huge moment for the fans.
Okay, we've got MVP, first scoring play, halftime show, and the coin toss.
Can't forget about that classic.
Heads or tails, what are you going with?
You know what? I'm feeling tails on this one.
Tails it is. Got to trust your gut.
Exactly. Pure gut feeling, but sometimes that's all you need.
50-50 chance, right? All right, and last but not least, the Gatorade shower. What color do you think it's going to be?
Ooh, this is a fun one. I'm going to go with orange, I think.
Orange. Bold choice.
It's bold, it's energetic. I think it would make for a great visual, for the celebration.
Orange it is. All right, those are some excellent predictions. I'm definitely even more pumped for Super Bowl LVIII now.
Well, remember, these are just predictions, and anything can happen on game day.
Oh, absolutely. But even if none of these predictions come true, I think we've all learned something valuable today. Prop bets can be a really fun and engaging way to enjoy the Super Bowl even more.
They really do turn every little moment into a potential win, whether you're, a diehard football fan or just a casual viewer.
And you know what? The research, the strategy, all that stuff, it can be just as fun as the bets themselves.
It's true. It's like a whole other game to play.
So to everyone listening out there, as you gather with your friends and family to watch Super Bowl LVIII, think about throwing some prop bets into the mix.
It'll definitely spice things up.
Exactly. Do your research, be strategic, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Who knows, maybe you'll even walk away with some bragging rights and, maybe even a little extra cash.
This has been an awesome deep dive. Thanks so much for sharing your expertise and all those insights with us.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk about the big game.
Until next time, everyone, may all your bets be winners.